Music. Can be really fun, but so are challenges. So that's what we're going to be doing today. A musical challenge. So today we're going to be making a song using only 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you may be asking what on earth that means. To answer that properly, I'll need to explain a few things. A great deal of music that we listen to uses two really important elements to keep rhythms sounding cohesive, and those are tempo and time signature. If you're already familiar with these two ideas, then skip here in whatever timestamp that is in order to skip to when we actually start the challenge of the video. Let's start with tempo. The tempo of a song dictates how slow or how fast a song is. We measure this using BPM, just like heart rate. Normally, the lower the BPM, the slower the song, and the higher the BPM, the faster. When we listen to music, it's pretty common to bop our heads along to it, and normally the speed of that head bop is actually going to correspond to the BPM of your song. Here are a few examples. Now, tempo is used as a guideline for where and when we can play the rhythms of our music. Rhythms being when our musical elements happen based on like time and speed. Just because my BPM is 100 doesn't mean everything I do has to land on one of these beats in 100 beats per minute. I'm going to play a metronome, which just allows me to hear what 100 BPM sounds like, so it'll just repeat over and over again. So this right here is 100 BPM. While this is happening, I can play twice as fast, half as slow, or whatever this is. Most commonly when we put down our rhythms in music, it's going to be a combination of speeds. It's never going to be just the same thing over and over again for the most part, but no matter what we do, it's all held together by our tempo. It appears I've gained a pair of glasses. That's fine. Let's talk about time signature. Time signature is a little weirder to understand, but I'll try to be as brief as I can. Music is made up of patterns, and a lot of these patterns tend to repeat. Some more examples. Now, all those repetitive patterns you just heard are at a tempo of 95 BPM, and they're all the exact same length. When we're structuring music and actually making these rhythms and patterns, we use a system called beats and bars. Now, these terms may sound familiar, but what do they actually mean? Beats and bars allow us to sort of count our repetitions and know when things are going to happen in our music, or know when our cycles are most likely going to repeat. Now, how do we know when beats happen? Well, we actually can go back to our previous example. BPM stands for beats per minute. And if we go back to our head bop example, every single head bop that you do is most likely a beat. Now, how about counting bars? Well, it's actually not too bad. Every time 4 beats has gone by, that normally means a bar has also gone by, and we go back and start counting at 1 again. If we go back to our head bop example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That was 2 bars I just counted right there. I went to 4, went back to 1, and then started counting bars again. So to boil it down, there are 4 beats in every bar. Mostly. There aren't always 4 beats in every single bar, because what dictates how many beats a bar has is time signature. The reason why everything I've said so far hopefully makes sense is because most music that we listen to is in 4/4 time, which does mean that there are 4 beats in every single bar. I'm sure we've all probably heard something like this before a song starts. 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, into and out. 1, 2, 3, 4.
In all these examples, the musician is counting a full bar before the song starts. The reason they do this is because this gives the musicians both tempo and time signature of the song that they're about to play, which is really helpful. Now, what would happen if the time signature wasn't 4/4? To understand that, let's talk about what each of the numbers mean in 4/4. The first number corresponds to how many beats are in a bar. So let's say our time signature was 5/4. That would mean that there are 5 beats in every single bar instead of 4. A count-in then would sound something a bit more like this.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'ma sell my soul for my art.
As for the second number, honestly, if you're making music in standard DAWs like Ableton, FL Studio, Pro Tools, etc., the second number won't have too much bearing on what your music actually sounds like. Knowing what the second number is much more helpful if you're someone who reads music, like on traditional sheets like this. And since I won't really be doing a lot of that on this channel, you don't have to worry about that. If you would like to discuss what the second number means, however, feel free to in the comment section below, and I will talk to you about it if you want. Now, I started this whole discussion by talking about how most of the music we listen to uses patterns and all that. And the patterns and the way those patterns sound is heavily dictated by the time signature. I'm going to play some examples of what some drum patterns would sound like in 4/4 versus what they might sound like in 5/4. All those examples were also at the exact same tempo. The only thing that changed was the time signature. Pretty different, right? Now, all the music I make on here is going to be in 4/4, unless it's part of a challenge. Now that we're on the same page, let's talk about what this challenge actually is. As we know, most music we listen to uses rhythms that are a mixture of speeds. Some are fast, some are slow, and they tend to alternate. I'm going to play a metronome at 90 BPM at 4/4 time signature, and I'm going to play a few familiar melodies for you. See how some of the notes in the rhythm don't always land exactly on every metronome beat? Some do, some don't. But what if they had to? What if every rhythm had to land on either beat 1, 2, 3, or 4? And that's today's challenge. Making a song, but every element has to land on 1, 2, 3, or 4. Let's go now, shall we? So before we get the actual challenge started, the first thing I want to do is actually decide, the style of music and the tempo of the song. And to me, it wouldn't really be that fun to just choose those arbitrarily. So I've actually made what I will call the wheel of genres and just random.org. Yeah, nothing fancy there. So what I've done here is I've put a bunch of different genres in this pick wheel website, and I'm going to use it to decide what style of music I have to make. I have a few different categories. We have something heavy. It could be like heavier rock, metal, sort of whatever I'm capable of doing right now. We have rap-ish, so some sort of rap song. We have an R&B/slower type of song. Could be a lot of things. We have upbeat and poppy, and we have electronic focused. So let's spin the wheel here, I suppose. All right, let's see what we got. So we are going to be making... all right, we're going to be making an electronic focus song. That is fair. That's something I'm certainly capable of doing. So let's go to our random.org. So this is going to let us decide the BPM. What I've done is I've decided to put this from 80 and 170. Now, the thing about, since our challenge is all about having every beat has to land on 1, 2, 3, or 4, technically the faster speed we get, the easier it will be to actually do the challenge, because the fast speed means that more beats happen more often, so we'll be able to do a lot more rhythms. The slower speeds will be a lot harder, and the song will probably sound really, really drony and boring. So I'm gonna hope for something a bit faster, but we'll see what we get. Let's click generate here. Oh my gosh, okay. Wow. Okay, so I'll be making an electronic song at 86 BPM with only beats 1, 2, 3, or 4. That is Awful. All right, well, I guess let's get started. I also wanted to chime in quickly, just talk about restrictions, just to make certain things clear about the challenge. When I say every element of the song has to land on either 1, 2, 3, or 4 beat-wise, that doesn't mean every element of the song has to always land on 1, 2, 3, or 4. It's just if anything plays, it has to play on either 1, 2, 3, or 4. So I can have gaps, for example, like I can play something on beat 1 and not 2, and then have something play on beat 3, but I could not have something in between beat 1 or 2. Just to make that a bit clearer. Oh, whoops. I'd have to go and make a few sounds so that we actually have music for the challenge. So I'm gonna go select some sounds and then we'll go through some of the process. So I picked some of our sounds. So first here is this synth pad sound we have here. Just made it in wavetable really quickly, and the cool part about it is the harder I play, the harder I press on the keys, I get more pitch swell. Which I'm sure will come in handy for making this song interesting in some regard. Next up we have our kick drum. We got another stock Ableton snare. Got some hi-hats, or what I'm gonna use as a hi-hat for now. And then we have our bass right now. Again, just made in wavetable, a little subby thing, a little bit of a pulse width modulation on it, just to, you know, add some more sounds. And this audio track will be for my vocals when I do them. But yeah, that's currently what we're working with right now. And I'm gonna start laying some stuff down. I'm gonna start with laying down the chords. So again, remember, everything has to land on either 1, 2, 3, or 4, 86 BPM. Let's go. All right, so a little bit of time has passed. As you can see, the arrangement of the song is a bit more fully fleshed out. Came with a verse idea, a pre-chorus idea, and a chorus idea. All the vocals have also been written, and I'm gonna sing them now. We're gonna see how it sounds so far. You can't see me, I hide, you lie, stress completes me. Inside my mind. All right, let's try a first take of some of the backing vocals and see what they sound like so far. Okay, gonna do a few more background vocals over the chorus. Wanted to add just a few little bits on the piano. I felt the chorus needed a little something, so I'm adding this secondary low bass part on this instrument right here. Let's see what it sounds like. I felt the sound didn't quite have as much grit as I wanted, so changed it up a little bit, gave some automation to it. I think it's sounding pretty cool. I probably will just do a little bit more mixing to it, a little bit more editing, but honestly, I think we're pretty close to done. The goal here isn't to necessarily make a full, complete, like 3-minute plus song or anything like that. More so to get main structural elements down. Verse, chorus, you know, pre-chorus maybe and stuff like that, and clear different sections. And I think we're pretty much there. Okay, so I honestly think the song is basically done. I also wanted to go over quickly, I'm just gonna zoom in here. So at the top of Ableton here, these numbers, these represent our bars. So as you can see, bar 20, bar 21, bar 22. If I zoom in further, I get these decimals, 21, 21.2, 21.3, 21.4. These are our beats. And if we look at them, we'll be able to see that every last one of our MIDI instruments are these rectangles. They all will always start on one of these decimals, one of these strong decimals. They might not always happen on every single decimal, but they will always start on one of them. And then if we look at the vocals here, similar thing. Vocals will not perfectly line up because I am not a robot. I cannot sing perfectly onto every single beat, but every single time the vocal starts, it is aimed at one of these beats. It may not perfectly be on there, like for example, this one's a decent chunk early, but I am definitely not aiming for 21.1.3, which would be in between beats 1 and 2 here. I'm definitely aiming for beat 2. So yeah, everything seems to be in line and lining up with where it should. And yeah, let's listen to the song and see what we got so far.
You can't see me. I hide. You lie. Stress completely inside my mind. Count each minute, every second. I'll conceive my lethal weapon. If you run, I'll tear it down. Mine's a mess of constant sound. I win, you die. They won't survive this mess of me. I'm cursed, you're
So yeah, I'd honestly call that a pretty okay success. I actually didn't expect this to turn out as well as it did, considering the slower tempo and the electronic sort of side of things. But it actually worked out surprisingly well. I think it has a nice sort of slow, woozy feel to it and stuff like that. I definitely would have liked if I could sing off of the 1, 2, 3, and 4, the downbeats as we like to call them. I would have liked to be able to sing off the downbeats, but again, beggars can't be choosers. The point of the challenge is to make it difficult, to make it interesting. But yeah, I definitely consider this a success. If you feel like you have any interesting ideas for challenges I could do, be them production-based, engineering-based, music-based, feel free to throw them in the comments. I'll try my best to look at everything, and if I see anything interesting, I definitely would love to do it. I'm really open to different ideas and just would love to hear what people think of this sort of thing. I'm going to try to make this a recurring series and something that happens more often, so thank you so much for watching, and yeah, welcome to DAWJANK. Now, time signature's a little... now, these terms may sound... Now, what would happen if the time signature wasn't 4/4? To understand. No. So let's say for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I started this whole discussion by talking about how these terms may sound familiar, but what do they actually mean? Beats per... Therefore, if we're at 100 BPM, and there are... goodness.